legs up the wall? What on earth is that? I'm going to show you and in a short little practice too. So come on and get comfy with me. Well, hi everyone. I get a lot of questions about legs up the wall when I'm teaching in studios, when I do my virtual online classes, as well as my privates. And so I'm here to answer all of those questions. First of all, it is perfectly fine to have your legs up the wall for, as many as 10 minutes. That's totally fine to do. Yes, you can have your legs do a couple of different things while they're up the wall. So we will do that in our very nice practice that we're about to start. And a couple of things that you do need. You need to have some blank wall space, and you also need to have a little bit of blank floor space, and that's it. If you would like to have a little bit more to that and kind of be all extra, then you could have a sandbag. This is what's called a yoga sandbag. It's got a zipper, you put sand in it, it's got a handle. It's super nice to have for various reasons, one of which is to literally have it on top of the soles of your feet when they're up against the wall. However, I'm all about DIYing, so I'll have a link below if I can find one for this, because this one's pretty old, but you can totally go into your pantry and look for a bag of rice. Maybe you've got one that's in like 8 or 10 pound range, and that would be perfect for this too. So yes, DIY if you can. And that's something that you can have. Another thing you can have is a blanket. So you can just find any old blanket that you've got. You can have it just folded over once or twice, or maybe even a third or fourth time, depending on the thickness. This is good to have your tailbone, your hips on, just in case you want a little bit more of a raised seat for yourself. You don't have to have that, it's not necessary, but some people like that. Also, if you do have some back issues, then maybe you might want to have it unfolded and just have more of your body on it. So it just kind of depends on what you want. The other thing that you might want to have is a sock, a nice long like trouser sock, maybe one that's pretty thick. And the reason for that is that you can have it block the light. So it kind of helps with sensory deprivation, which is really nice with yoga, is to maybe take one or two of the senses out of the equation when you are practicing, especially when you're resting. So I do want to mention, I do happen to have an eye pillow. This has some rice. Speaking of rice, it has some rice in it, and it also is infused with 2 herbs, lavender and spearmint. I do sell these on my website, so I will put the link below for this. And it's just a beautiful little way to have a little bit of weight on your eyes. It folds very nicely onto the curvature of your nose and your eye sockets, and it really smells great, especially when you warm it up in the microwave. So I'm not going to worry about the sandbag or the blanket. I am, however, going to sneak my eye pillow with me because I really do enjoy them. So what we're going to do is do the butt wiggle up to the wall, which is all right. So I am up against the wall. I've got my hip and my thigh as flush as I can, my shoulder too, and I'm going to just kind of tilt my hips up a little bit. And so now I am doing the fancy move. I'm just going to call it the swing about. So I'm going to lay down, tuck my arm and shoulder underneath, scoot down a little bit more. I told you this is the fun part. And then swing my legs up. So go ahead and get comfortable up against the wall. Just start to settle in. Maybe place that sock, if you got one, over your eyes. Maybe pressing it into your forehead to kind of block out some of the light. Let your hands find a spot that's comfortable for them. Maybe down at your sides or resting comfortably on your stomach. And just start to feel your legs grow heavy, stationary up against the wall, but heavy. And for the next 3 breaths, I'd like for you just to sink into this pose, allowing your body to be totally comfortable. Beautiful. And just settle in. As part of our practice, it'll be a little bit of a quieter one, especially because you might be watching this at night and practicing this at night, because that's when legs up the wall is best. So settle in and just focus on your breathing. Focus on relaxation for the next several minutes. And then maybe start to roll your ankles a couple of times in one direction and then a couple of times in the other. Maybe even bending your knees before straightening them back out. And then letting the wall be your guide. Spread your legs into a large V shape up against the wall. Now this particular pose is more of a yin pose, so this is a stretch we'll hold for a few minutes, and it can be pretty intense on the inside of your thighs, so do what's best for you. If you need to draw your legs a little bit closer together, then that's fine. Just do what you need to and start to settle into this pose. So maybe take a nice deep breath and exhale, just releasing and relaxing. Again, just making those adjustments if you need to, and closing your V in a little bit. And we'll go ahead and just settle into a little bit of silence, focusing on your breathing, focusing on your relaxation. Beautiful. Go ahead and maybe let your hands guide your legs a little bit closed in, up along the wall, bending your knees now and straightening them out. Just do what feels good for you here for a few breaths. And when you're ready, settle in with your knees bent. Maybe your shins and calves are up against the wall and your soles of your feet are touching. So you've got a butterfly shape, but your legs are still up against the wall. And just get comfortable with that. Maybe even play around with the idea of your hands gently pressing your knees toward the wall, or simply resting on your stomach. That's yogi's choice. And again, settling in, maybe a couple of deep breaths. And then again, the focus becomes breath and relaxation. Now, because we were in that pretty intense V stretch before this butterfly pose, we won't be here very long. So go ahead and start allowing your knees to come toward each other, and then straightening out your legs. And bring your right ankle to the top of your left knee, and maybe even bending your left knee, your left foot still on the wall. And this is called a figure 4 shape up the wall. Maybe your right hand presses on your right knee to press it outward. This is a wonderful stretch that you should be feeling on the back of your right hip, in that area where sometimes you have some sciatica issues if you tend to have that. So it's a very nice stretch here. But it can also be intense, so definitely lay off of your right hand, pressing your right knee if you need to. And then straightening out both knees, legs up the wall again. Let's go ahead and switch sides. So we're bringing our left ankle onto our right knee this time. Right foot is on the wall. Maybe your right knee is bent. And then press, if you would like to, gently on your left knee so that it is going a little bit outward. And feeling that beautiful stretch on the back of your left hip this time. Beautiful. And then go ahead and slowly straighten out both legs again. And maybe let your wrists join in on the rolling around of the joints. So our ankles and our wrists are having a nice happy moment. And then draw your knees in towards your belly. Roll over and meet me in a seated position. I feel great. So before we leave, let's just go ahead and bring our hands toward our heart center. And just take a nice deep breath. And maybe sigh it out. And just repeat softly to yourself, may I be happy. May I be healthy. And may I be free from fear and worry. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Oh, well, thank you very much for joining me, and let me know in the comments below which of those poses of your legs up the wall was your favorite one. Bye.